Now let's learn about how to clean the data, how to transform the data in terms of optimizing it. So if suppose there are any unnecessary columns or unnecessary rows that needs to be removed so that we can improve the performance, because Power BI engine, Power Query engine will work, and those engine will have to process more queries. So better way, use only that much data which is required. Any table which is not useful should be deleted. Any number of columns which we know that we are not going to use anywhere in visualization or analysis, we should remove those columns. And any number of rows we know that we are not going to use anywhere in visualization. Instead of getting entire world data, when we know our focus is only Asia, we can load only Asian data or a data specific to a country or specific to a category, division, department. So we don't have to load this entire data in Power BI desktop. Instead, we can filter out rows. Now let's learn how to remove those unnecessary columns, how to move columns on left side, right side, or how we can make a duplicate that we have already seen. But let's see how to remove those duplicates in case there are any duplicates available in a table. So let's go back to Power BI once again. And now, how to move columns. If suppose there are so many columns, for example, sales details query has more than 20 columns. And how to see how many number of columns are there? Here, we have 20 columns. Now, we don't have to load this entire 20 columns in Power BI desktop or visualization when we are sure that we are not going to use any column. For example, let's say ship mode, we're not going to use, simply remove that. If we want to keep, let's say, only these few columns, we can select those, right click, and we can either remove these columns or we can remove other columns. So this is going to remove all other columns. Now we left with only these three columns. So we definitely need other columns. So let's remove this last step. Just for the sake of seeing, I deleted it, but now we need actually all these columns. So I have deleted that last step. How to move columns? Suppose we need to move a particular column. For example, here we can see business type. Now business type we want to move. So we can move it using left click upper mouse, or we can also move it. We reordered. So let's just remove this. Instead, we can also find this option given wherein we can move column from left to right or right to left. So we can select that particular column. For example, maybe order date. Do you want to move it to the left side or right side or to the beginning or to the end? We can go to transform tab. Within transform tab, move feature is given. And when we click on this small drop down, this will allow us to move. For example, we want to move this onto left side or maybe on right side. Let's click on right side. So now this column has moved to right side. Let's remove this step. We want to move this to the very beginning of this entire table. Now this is first table order priority. We can see, let's cross it out. So we can move columns if we need to. Now, if suppose we know that our focus is only on effect, we don't want to visualize entire world data, our focus is only on effect, then we can filter out. By selecting effect, we will load only data related to effect market. This will filter out rows. So it's a good idea to filter out rows to reduce number of rows which we will load in Power BI desktop, and that will increase size of our model, and that will also process many queries at one point of time. Now, what it means, we will see this in detail later. Processing of queries, we'll see that later. So let's cross this out. Now, let's understand if suppose there are some issues in data, there can be some blanks, there can be a lot of duplicates, there can be some errors in data. There's so many tables. How we are going to check out those errors or blanks? We cannot see one by one. There are so many columns, so many queries available. So there is a dedicated feature available, which is view. Within view tab, we have data preview feature. So this data preview feature can be used. So we have here column quality and column distribution. So column quality will allow us to see quality of values in a column How many values are 100% valid? We can see in this column, all are 100% valid. Error, there is no error. Empty, there is no empty row. We can go to product table, and when we connected with this data source, there were some blank rows. Now we can see I've selected a previous step, and by this step, those rows were not deleted. Later, it was deleted. Now you can see that it is 100% valid, but in previous steps, if we say less than 1% values are empty. So using this feature column quality, we can see quality of values in a column. Now, we can also check out distribution of values in a column. For example, when we check this box, column distribution, it will allow us to see how many values are distinct, how many values are unique. So if we go to sales query, now we can see how many are distinct. Now, what is distinct? Distinct includes even if any value which is appearing multiple times, 5 times or 10 times, that is going to be counted just once. And if any single value which is available, that is also going to be counted as one. Whereas unique means only single entries. Distinct includes both distinct value as well as unique values, whereas unique includes only single entries. There should not be any multiple entries. If there is just one single name, that is going to be part of unique entries. So this feature is really helpful. Now, if suppose we will get to know that there are blanks, there are many blanks in between, then we can remove those blanks using this feature from Home tab. We can remove duplicates in case there are any duplicates. We can remove those rows. We can also remove those rows where there are errors. So this feature will allow us to do these kind of cleanings. Now, let's discuss column profile. Next feature we have is column profile. So what is the use of column profile? Column profile will give us profiling of a column. For example, if we select market, now we can see these are the markets. If we select region, so we will get distribution of values. If I select customer ID, we can say this is the value distribution, and on left side we can see column statistics. Let's select sales. So once we select sales, we can see distribution of values, count of the number of rows, and then how many distinct, how many unique, what is the maximum sales, what is the minimum sales, average sales, and then other information. Now, if we go to our data source, which has more than 100,000 rows, let's open our data source. Why we are seeing only 1,000 count here? It is because here we can see column profiling based on 1,000 rows. Actually, we have more than 1,000 rows. We can open our data source and we can see, just select any column and we can see count of rows. Count of rows is more than 100,000, 1 lakh rows. So if data available is for 1 lakh rows or 100,000 rows, then why Power BI is showing hardly 1,000 count? It is because this profiling of column is done based on top 1,000 rows. This can be changed by just simply clicking left click of mouse. See, column profiling based on entire data set. Once we select this, then we will see entire data. Number of rows will be approximately 100,000 or 1 lakh. See, this is taking time. This is the reason, because profiling of more number of rows will take more time. But profiling based on top 1,000 rows will take less time. See, this is the count of rows available in our data source. Now, this column profiling is based on entire data set. We can select country. Now, country column will show all the countries, and again, it is taking so much time. When we were seeing profiling based on 1,000, it was showing results very quickly, but now it is taking more time. And this is the reason why we should not change this option, because this is based on this assumption that even after 1,000 rows, output will be same or data will be same or information will be same in that particular column. If it's a country column, after 1,000 rows, information will be remain same. Country information will be available after 1,000 rows. Now look at this. We can see value distribution, and one of the use case of column profiling is that we can see Here, all the names available in this column, all the unique values. If there are any spelling mistakes or if there are any duplicates, for example, United States and US, we know it's a duplicate. United States and US is same. So suppose multiple people are recording this data. Somebody is using United States to record this data. Somebody is using US. Somebody is using USA. We know that all these are same countries. But when we will do visualization, we'll get multiple results for the same country, which is not a good visualization. So we need to fix this issue. So this is one of the use case. Even spelling mistake can also show us multiple results. Now, to see such issues, we can use column profiling. We can use column profile feature. Now, let's replace either United States with US or US with United States so that we will see just one country, not multiple countries with the same name. We can make this user-friendly replacement by simply right-clicking on that column and then we can click on replace value. Now, we need to find that value. What is that value? That value is United States. Make sure we will use exactly same case because Power BI and Power Query is case sensitive. We want to replace United States with US and let's click OK. And the moment we change this, now we will see US just once. So let's select this column one more time. After making this user-friendly replacement, we will see only one US. We will not see two countries as United States and US the way it was showing previously. So once this operation will be done, we will see one country. So let's just wait. It is still loading. It is taking so much time. Now look at this. We have changed. We have replaced that value. So this needs to be fixed. If there is any such issue that needs to be fixed, let's change this column profiling based on 1000 rows only because then it will take less time. Similarly, if we will select any other column, any numeric column, so this shows the distribution of values. What is the minimum quantity sold? What is the maximum quantity sold? And then we have few more options given. For example, monospace. This is basically for spacing. Next is white space. Now, what is this white space? Show white space. Right now, we don't see any white space. White space is any leading space. So, even space is also a character. Once we check this box, then only we can see that there are some leading spaces. So we have to even clean up this as well because this is going to interfere in visualization. If we want to use these email IDs somewhere, then these leading spaces will also act as a character. So this needs to be fixed. And how to fix this? To fix this, we can trim these spaces. And to trim these spaces, either we can right click and then we can click on trim. So this is going to remove all the leading spaces, or we can also go to transform tab and from there we can trim it from here, format and then trim. The format will also allow us to use other features like if suppose we need everything in lowercase, we can change this text into lowercase text. If we want to format it as uppercase, now we can say this entire information is in uppercase. Sometimes we want to capitalize only first word, NR, A is capital, this is capital, this is capital. So let's just remove these last steps. We just wanted to trim white spaces. So that's the use of data preview feature, very amazing feature. Usually in some BI tools, we have to do it manually, but in Power BI, we can see these problems very easily. Now, before we proceed further, it's a good idea to save our work. So far, we have not saved our work. It's still an untitled document. It's not safe. If your system will crash or by mistake, you will close this. This is not safe. You will lose your entire work. It's a good idea to save your work. So either we can click on save button here or we can save or save as. And then wherever we want to save, for example, we want to save it on our DataFlair folder. This is our training file. Now look at the extension. So file type is going to be PBIX. That That is going to be the file type, Power BI. Let's save it. And once we save it, we need to apply these changes. If we want, we can apply changes later, but we would like to apply changes now because we have made so many changes and we don't want any changes should be pending. So let's apply. It may take few seconds, and within few seconds, we will see this name will be changed and we will see our file name. So let it load and let it save. And once it is saved, it can be opened like any other normal document, any PDF, any Word, any PPT, Excel file, the way you open, we can open even this document as well.